Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well today. Running a little late on the interview. Waiting on the other party to show up, but I am hanging out with NNB Sports, and we were just talking conspiracies and kind of hanging out. How you doing today, man?
I'm
I don't
doing
know
good.
your. Do you mind telling me your first name?
My name's Nick. That's what the N stands for. Nick.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what it was for.
Yeah, no
I
worries.
saw the Texas logo on your thing, and I didn't know like if it had something to do with a college or something down there or
Oh,
what.
just Houston. I live in Houston area.
Oh, okay. How's it going, Emily? Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna say I got a notification for yours. Who you got over hanging out on your live? And shout out to all them for coming in as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, anytime. I didn't know when exactly we were gonna get this working. I'm glad we actually found a date. Hopefully it all works out here pretty soon. So those are the
Yeah, if not,
only
I'm definitely free next week if it doesn't work out tonight.
yeah, Wankaroo. Tonight is the debate. We're waiting on Galaxy. I guess he's having some StreamYard issues. Um, and we should be starting up here shortly. Thank you, everybody, tuning in so far. But so let Zero know Wankaroo because Zero is the one that helped set this up. Wankaroo and Zero are regulars on Galaxy's chat, and they're the ones that were like, "Hey, Jacob, you should set up this debate between the two of them and kind of make this happen." And I was like, "All right, if you guys want to." So do you have any other quarrels with 9/11 besides um, the
Tower
Tower?
7. No, Tower 7 was just the one when I saw it, I couldn't get it out of my head. It just like you could reasonably logically maybe explain everything else the way they say it happened, but yeah, when I saw Tower 7, that was just I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. It was too odd. It was off to the side. It just perfectly collapsed. Even if it did get knocked over by the debris, it wouldn't have perfectly collapsed like that.
Oh no, not into itself like a controlled demolition.
Yeah, it would have
And
fell on one
well,
side
and they were
first.
studying. They were also studying like these weird blowout points, and they were trying to say it was from the weight above, and it almost looked like controlled impacts, explosions that they put on multiple levels, rather than saying that it was destroyed from the bottom on most regular demolitions, and then it just cascades down. I don't really. It didn't appear to be that way. Like there was a lot of questionable things I saw in the footage of Seven falling.
Yeah, it's just one of those things we'll never know. Probably.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no reason to tell the people like yeah,
Yeah, the people don't need to know.
not at this point. Oh gosh, could you
Yeah,
imagine like if anybody publicly in the government came forward and said something like that, the families that they'd have to pay out? Jeez, that would be ridiculous.
that would be ridiculous. There'd be riot in the streets too.
Right.
I,
And
I
otherwise,
would
we
hope.
would
I
have
would
never.
hope.
Bush would have never made it into the Middle East if if we wouldn't have been able to sell that
Yeah,
BS
it's
for a little
true.
while.
Yep, that was a big mistake.
What's
even
your
as even as much as like you like initially want revenge or the feeling of revenge, even I was like, what? So like, who are we going after here? Like some random terrorists in some caves out in the Middle East. I don't really know. You know what I mean? Where's that going to get us?
Yeah, I mean,
Felt like a snipe hunt from the beginning.
let's just keep telling people they have weapons of mass destruction and see how long this shit show lasts.
Yeah, exactly.
What other ones are you into? You ever look into like the flat Earth or anything like that?
No, I never really got into flat Earth. That one's just a little too far fetched for me. I think. I mean, I'll listen to it. Right? Anyone who can make a convincing argument, I'll listen.
Oh yeah, it's a fun one. I definitely studied it way too hard. I wouldn't say I was ever hook, line, and sinker into it, but at the same time, there's enough like weird things. But the hardest ones are like when they try to explain outer space and try to tell me that the whole thing's a projection. If
Yeah,
if we aren't living in a simulation, then I could never see a flat Earth being possible. If we're living in a simulation, I could see how flat Earth is even a theory. But I mean, I guess there's a good chance we are living in a simulation. So if that's the
God,
case.
yeah. Don't they
Um,
largely think like we're in a dome or something? Isn't that one of the arguments?
I always thought it was more that we were looking at some kind of projection above us, and that we were on a flat surface. Not so much. I think the biblical depiction is more of a dome. That it's like a platform sitting on pillars, and I would assume that there had to be some kind of what's it called, protection around it. But for it to be an actual dome in that sense, I don't think it works because they have a pendulum theory about the sun, and they think the sun is like hanging from a pendulum and going around like a saucer type surface, and that will explain like the way that the sun actually rotates. They just think it's not as far away. So I would assume that the dome would have to be pretty damn big that the pendulum just swings inside of the dome or right over the top
Yeah.
of it.
You've already lost me. I'm already out. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
no,
I can't get into that.
it's too hard to follow.
Absolutely.
But I do like, if you've ever seen like the United Nations flag or whatever with like the flat layout of the globe.
Yeah.
I do like their theory that Antarctica is like the outer crust, and it circumferences the whole disk, and it's basically similar to like Game of Thrones. It's
The wall.
like an ice wall. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do kind of like that one.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
It's a fun theory. Not practical in any way, but
No, not at all. The other one we were talking about was the moon landing.
oh yeah, the moon one. Yeah, there's a lot of weird ones about that. Mostly the footage, and then some of the wild shit some of the astronauts came back and said. Like there was some weird testimony from like Buzz Aldrin, who, congratulations, just got married on his like what 97th birthday the other day.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that. That's right.
Some girl that was like 36 years younger than him or something.
Oh wow, really?
Well,
Good
who
for
was
him.
married at 97 on their birthday? Like,
Good
here,
for him.
take the rest of my money.
He said it was like the love of his life or something.
Oh,
So I guess they'd
maybe.
like been together for a while, probably, or something.
Oh, maybe. I didn't hear about that part. I just looked at their picture and I'm like, man, there's a big age difference there.
Yeah. That's funny though.
Do you think we landed on the moon, or what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, I'd probably say we did.
Why do you think we never went back?
I don't know, that's a good question, I guess. I mean, I guess you go there. I mean, what's the point to keep going back just to go back, I suppose?
To visit the parts of it that we'd never visited. Like China just went there recently to visit the dark side of the moon that nobody had ever seen.
Yeah.
So I mean,
True.
I guess studying the whole structure, or
Does the moon rotate on an axis?
no,
It doesn't. Okay.
the bright side of the moon is always facing the Earth.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then like there's a bunch of theories around the moon, like if it's if it was like, because without the moon, humans wouldn't exist basically, and science tells us that much. So I always thought it was weird when the astronauts landed on it, and they said when they landed, it like rung like a bell, like it was almost hollow on the inside, which I think is a little wild.
I guess that would somewhat make sense, right? The gravity's less.
Yeah, but
then again, it's smaller.
it would still have a core from it, especially if it was a piece of the Earth that from a collision a long time ago. Like according to science, you consider it to be a solid mass.
It could
but
be
without
something
that
like
mass
limestone
there-
or something. Not limestone per se, but kind of the same form as limestone.
No, I would say it had to be some of the same structure coming from the Earth.
Solid all the way through.
I would consider the Earth to be. I mean, there's people that think the Earth is hollow, but I would usually like to think that the Earth is solid, maybe has a liquid core.
The
and
hollow
it's
Earth theory. I
constantly
forgot about
cooling.
that one too.
Hollow Earth theory is a good one.
Yeah, that one's crazy. That might be the craziest, to be honest.
Really, I think that one has the most merit when it comes to religions.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I guess
if
there's like
I'm
parts of
thinking
the
of an
ocean
afterlife,
we still haven't
thinking-
explored and stuff.
Well, and like Tibetan history and Buddhist history, like they used to talk about the inner earth and Agartha, and that being the afterlife and like the place of ascension. And if you're not thinking of a higher plane of existence, like out of this dimension, I would assume that one's the only one that's kind of reasonable. Chief,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you're saying. My bad. I apologize. I don't have a translator for that. My translator is not here today. My co-host used to be a translator. He knows like 7 different languages, and he lives
Oh
in.
shit.
Yeah, we started this show, and he lives in Brazil, and he's a translator out there, and he's from Texas, and he was a big football guy.
Oh yeah, Brazil. They speak like 4 or 5 big languages over there.
Well, that's what he teaches, and he also translates documents for a company out there, I guess.
Interesting.
So he was nice when I had somebody coming on speaking Spanish or coming on speaking. He's usually better with like Spanish or German. He wasn't so good with more of the more common languages that I hear. We need him to speak more of the language of the Philippines, the Filipino. Well, they have 2 major languages, so it'd be hard to do both.
What about football? You keeping up with football at all?
I haven't. Same with football. I haven't really followed it since the '90s, kind of like wrestling. Most of my my mainstream sports I kind of gave up on, besides the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably like watching the UFC besides maybe like NBA and NBA playoffs, probably more than anything else, to be honest.
You like watching the UFC more than the NBA playoffs and all that?
No, I still like watching basketball the most just because I played it so much growing up. But
Gotcha.
after that, it's definitely second, I think, now, even over football and anything else.
I mean, that's the only thing about the UFC. It's like when you're charging that much for a pay-per-view and then you put too much expectation into like a big named fight, that's when you usually get let down. Luckily, I'm not paying too much to watch most of my stuff. But if I was invested like some of these other people having to spend $80 per pay-per-view or something like that, and then you get a lackluster performance, somebody goes out and breaks their leg in the first minute, and you're just like, oh, glad I spent $80 on this.
But I mean, even undercards and the prelims are like, they're fun for me to watch. Just I guess also because I'm so new to it, like I still like watching that even.
Oh yeah, no, that's good. I mean, that's where it's actually at, and most new people don't like watching that, so that's actually a good way to start, because that's where you figure out who everybody is. I mean, I don't really follow Tough Enough or anything like that anymore. I think they're still doing the Tough Enough series and stuff like that. Or no, Tough Enough was the WWE one. What's the one that they do for the UFC? Ultimate Fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah.
I don't watch Dana White's Contender series or any of those other ones.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of that stuff. I am really excited to see Jones fight Gagne, though.
Yeah.
Moving up to heavyweight. Gagne.
What do you think into that one? Do you think it'll
be interesting
to have the upper hand?
I mean, Jones is obviously a little bit longer. I think if he can just come in shape and not be like too heavy, and he can keep that range, I think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, the only thing I worry about is Gane's striking power. I think.
Gane's athletic too.
He's athletic, but I watched him get worked by fucking Francis Ngannou too, and that's when everybody thought Gane had way better wrestling because they hadn't seen Francis Ngannou have to wrestle. And he did way better than Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, I was kind of who's the guy from Australia or New Zealand, the chubby guy, that Gane.
Oh, Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, I like him a lot, even though he's gotten rocked his last couple fights.
Yeah, well, I mean it's the same with I mean you're from Texas area. I mean you have to be a Derek Lewis fan.
Yeah, Derek Lewis is a big favorite here. Yeah.
God, but I mean, he lost his last fucking 4 in Houston or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
That's actually that's the fight I wanted to see Jones come back to, because Derek had been talking about it with Jones before. They said it in a press conference, like that it'd be cool if they got to fight each other. Talk about a great tune-up fight and also a great Houston fight. Like to see those two come together, they'd sell that fucking place out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Derek Lewis is a big favorite around here, definitely.
Yeah. And him and his iconic lines. God, he has some of the best fucking like in-ring just being himself. Ugh.
You think
Who's
McGregor's gonna come back?
I don't know. I don't even know if I want to see him come back, to be honest.
Don't you have to do like 6 months or like a year
Yeah,
of
you have to be in the
testing?
testing pool for 6 months before
Yeah,
you can even re-enter competition. And so Henry Cejudo's back in the testing pool. John Jones is in the testing pool. So those people I do think are going to be back sooner than Conor McGregor.
for sure. Yeah. Well,
But
Jones already has a fight lined up, so
yeah, that's true. I promise I'm not a troll. Hey man, what's going on? Can you join? No, we're just killing some time waiting for a debate here in a little bit. Just talking about some other topics, just because I've never gotten to talk to Nick here about any of the other topics that we've been covering now. Well, what games do you play on your channel? I saw the one time I did come on there, you were playing games.
Dead Cells, just whatever. I have like the Xbox Game Pass, so I'm not like a big gamer. I guess I used to be a little bit more back in the day, but I even still have my Sega Genesis actually. But I'm not necessarily a big gamer. But I do have the Game Pass. Just when I get bored, I hop on there and see what's going on.
Nice.
Yeah, Dead Cells is I forget what the name of that kind of game is. It's like a retro looking first person. It's a pretty fun game.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever played that one. I do a lot of first person shooters and some racing games, but I only do it on my Xbox 360. I don't have a new PlayStation, so
Damn, you
I
still
do
have the
that, but-
360? You still have
Oh
the
yeah,
360? Nice.
hell yeah. I had three of them, and all of them started to go out in different orders, so I had to basically assemble one. I used to be a big computer gamer. I used to play Counter Strike 1.6 on the computer all the time, like
Yeah.
competitively, and I don't do that anymore. So I kind of gave up the nice computer setup and went to 360, and I'm hoping eventually. I mean, we got a PS3 in the house, but I don't play that either. No, I think it's a PS4, but we don't play that either. So I'm big into like Call of Duty, Nazi zombies, and stuff like that.
Interesting.
I don't get to I don't know. I don't get to play any of the new games yet.
I promise I'm not a troll talking about Fuentes and Yay.
Yeah, you're about to get timed out, my dude. I don't block anybody, but you can take 300 seconds to think about what you said.
Tug messaged you back at all yet?
Nope, I just got an update that we were live. I haven't gotten anything back from him yet. Yeah, I don't know what it would be that he would have to recreate. I don't know what his issue is with StreamYard. He really has a
He could just get an incognito tab too, and it not even have to like log, or even if it like makes you, he thinks he's trying to log into his account or something.
Yeah, now I know what
Just
you're
do an
saying.
incognito tab.
I should suggest that. Because then you could just come in as a guest. Like, I'll know it's him.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty much the only ones that have the link. And I can tell most of the time. Try opening StreamYard in an incognito tab and see if it will let you sign in as a guest. He's going to reply back. The only tabs I open are incognito. No, he did a debate with one of the guys from the PWO. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was talking to you, Jake. Oh yeah, no, you're good, Emily. I don't make my moderators work in here. Don't worry about it. It takes me 2 seconds to do it. I don't want you guys playing the mental gymnastics of trying to figure out if the person's nice or not. Oh, that's not appropriate.
What happened?
Nothing. You can see the guy's name. I wasn't gonna read it. The mean Nick showed up.
Gotcha.
I gotta tap in my my main moderator, and I don't know what the other dude was saying in a different language either. But yeah, no worries, Emily. You don't have to monitor any of that. Not too worried about it. That was that name always comes up. Somebody's always trying to get you to read it. Every once in a while, Somebody
must
be
have
coming
missed
up
it.
to do it. It's it shows in the community tab. Even if I blocked it, it should. But I appreciate the trolls' fun lack of anything better to do, and I appreciate the view. Whatever.
Yeah, boost the algorithm, right?
Right. I mean, even if all the trolls show up and want to watch me, that's fine. Whatever floats your boat.
Here, I'll send you that the Michael Jordan video I made.
Okay.
Kind of did it
How are you
for
gonna send
fun.
it to me? Do you want me to give you my email?
Yeah, that's fine. You can put
I
it
got
in
my
the
email open. I'll
you can put it in
a
the
private
StreamYard
chat.
if you want.
What's that?
Or actually, I can just put the video in the StreamYard.
Oh yeah, do that. I can click on it in the private chat.
It's almost 2 hours long.
That's all good. Give us something to talk about for him. Well, actually, we probably shouldn't talk about Michael Jordan yet.
Yeah.
We should probably wait on Michael Jordan topics. I appreciate it though. I shared your video with Galaxy to see if he would watch it. He's like, I'm not watching his content. I was like, well, he's going over the emails between you guys. I thought, I mean, you should at least know what he's covering.
Oh my god, dude, his emails, man. It's like I don't know. It seems like he like gets so personal and like takes offense. It's like, dude, you're hosting a debate channel, man. Like you got to be willing to and understand people are coming on.
And he's got to be able to play with it a little bit because it's like you're clearly trying to get people riled up when you call people like zombie Nazi Michael Jordan fans
and stuff like that. Yeah,
and scumbags and this and that. And it's like, come on. At some point, you got to realize you're doing the same thing. Why take it so serious?
Yeah, and I feel like I've never really insulted him, to be honest. Like nothing like vulgar or anything.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was trying to avoid tonight. I don't want any of the name calling, of course. It gets a little wild. But no, I had to give it up to him. The last time he was on, somebody else started calling people names before him, and then he jumps into it. Like as soon as he does get a name thrown at him, that's when he starts going hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucked because somebody else gave him the ammunition, and he was like, "God damn it, I guess I got to do this now."
Yeah.
But man, I'm hoping he gets this sorted out here soon. So I actually am interested in to see if he wants to make the top 25 argument. I know he's going to do the GOAT argument because that one always comes up, but I don't know. Hopefully get a response back here pretty soon. Otherwise, I appreciate you coming on nonetheless.
Yeah, no worries.
I hate to
just
say
I got to drive to my grandma's tonight because she lives really close to where that wiffle ball tournament is tomorrow.
Oh, so you're going to crash over there and wake up early and go there?
Yeah, because I got to be there at 8 a.m. God damn it.
Gotcha.
It's like
how far is your drive?
It's probably like 45 minutes to an hour just on the other side of Houston.
Oh, okay.
Houston's so big.
Yeah, it's really spread out.
Yeah.
Walker said, "What's your favorite Gatorade flavor?"
When I used to drink Gatorade, I feel like I haven't had Gatorade since high school, to be honest. But there was like a light blue, I think, flavor.
Okay.
And the white one, there's like a white ice, and then maybe like a some kind of glacier blue or something.
Yeah, they updated. They had the Arctic ice or whatever you're talking about, the blue one.
Yeah.
Now they got a purple ice one.
Ooh.
Come on. I only go with Logan Paul's Prime now. I clearly
dude, over in the UK, that stuff's going crazy. People are losing their minds over it.
I just thought I was watching some interview where somebody that worked for Logan Paul showed up at Impulsive or whatever, and he had a Gatorade in his hand. Well, there's like a crate of Prime behind him. He's like, "Why the hell are you drinking that?"
Yeah, once I realized how much sugar was in Gatorade, I stopped drinking it.
Yeah, they say for it to be like efficient, you almost have to water it down twice over.
Yeah.
To actually have the hydrating capability that people say it does.
Yeah, you need to be like running, sweating, like it. There's really almost no other reason to drink it. Yeah. That shit'll rot your teeth too and shit like that.
Yeah, I got off that, and that's probably the biggest thing that helped me with my diet now is just getting off sugar.
Dude,
Uh,
sugar's so bad. Yeah.
yeah, I have probably less than 6 carbs a day now.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's not a lot.
no, yeah.
I eat some carbs just because I work out, so it's not too bad.
Well, and I always thought that that was a misconception that we were taught when we were younger, like about the food pyramid and saying that you need all these carbs and it gives you energy in the long term. And oh yeah, I used to do like pasta dinners and stuff before a football game and stuff like that. And I don't know. I might have like a gluten allergy or something
Mhm.
because I just woke up worse and more groggy than I would if I didn't fill up on carbs.
I've been trying to do some more biking. So like I do about 15 to 20 minutes of cardio every day. So I feel like I feel like even yeah, if you're not literally sweating for maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, you really don't need that much.
True. And I'm big into like the liquid IVs if I'm actually trying to get hydrated, just something I can add to my already like my water glass that I already have kind of thing. I'm not trying
What's a
to
liquid IV?
yeah, they sell them at like CVS and Walgreens and stuff like that.
It's like a drink though, not an actual IV, right?
No, it's not an actual IV. That'd be
I was
better
about to
for you.
say what? That's crazy.
That'd be way better for you.
Yeah,
Um,
they have like some centers like I've at least I've heard them in Houston.
oh yeah,
So
you can
like
go and
people
get
get
like
hung over and they're drunk as fuck, and the next day they go get some IVs and shit, and they feel almost as good as new.
well, it's the same if you go out and donate plasma. They actually do the same thing. They pump a saline solution into you, and you actually leave better than you came in. Right.
That's funny.
Most of the time, like, because it'll like if you're dehydrated, it'll really hurt when they're pumping your plasma out, and you can actually feel it. Dude, that C4 stuff, that pre-workout, that stuff's so bad.
Yeah, so one of my New Year's resolutions was to cut way back on caffeine. I'll maybe have like a monster once a week now, like the zero one, which
Yeah.
is only like I think it's like 160 milligrams of caffeine for one of those. And I only do it like when I'm going to work out. Maybe I didn't sleep good or I'm tired or something. But I was drinking like 2 energy drinks a day, and I was like, this is getting ridiculous. I got to stop.
Well, I started to realize. Okay, so I think it wholeheartedly has to do with like what kind of body style that you have and body type that you have. Because I'm ADHD, I could chug an energy drink and fall asleep. Like it doesn't keep me awake.
Yeah, I was getting
Um,
to that point a little bit too. It almost calmed me down.
yeah, and it was weird. I consume way. I probably have close to 900 milligrams of caffeine before I start my day. Like I'll
Oh
probably have
my
about
god,
three.
dude,
I'll
are you
probably have about
serious?
yeah. I'll probably have
Holy
about
shit.
let's see.
I was having like
Uh,
600 a day and I thought
I'll
that
have
was too
like
much.
I have like 3 G Fuels or something like that. Like
Bro,
on the way to
dude,
work. It's an hour and a
that's
half
way
drive.
too much.
Oh yeah. You smoke a joint and then you have your G Fuel and you just kind of balance it out.
I've been there. I've definitely been there. I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah. It's the only way. It's honestly the only way I can tolerate people.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I know exactly where you're at.
I can't
100%.
drive. I can't drive in a busy city without having a little caffeine or a little something else to make
Oh,
me.
don't even get me started on traffic, dude. I cannot stand traffic. I feel like I'm just wasting my life away.
It's so Walker. It just depends on your body, but I do think it. I mean, your heart's beat. If your heart's beating faster, you're working your body harder than you should be, just to have a beverage. like
So my I make my own pre-workout. I do just citrulline, creatine, and betaine anhydrous, which is
okay,
essentially like beetroot
yeah.
powder. It's like the broken down form of that. And then if you want to add some caffeine, like if you want to have a monster or like you want to throw some caffeine pills in there, you can do that. But I take those three things. That's what my pre-workout is. It's like the basic of what you need. And so much of those other pre-workouts, they have a bunch of shit that's either not needed or it's not even enough of a dose to like really even matter, you know?
Yeah,
They just put it in there to sound good.
no, it's true. Well, I mean, if you're gonna go a natural way, go with something like beets and like ginseng.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go nuts with caffeine or anything else
I
because
take a
they
green and a
usually come
red,
with what's
like
that?
soup. I take like a green and a red, like powder too. like superfood kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, Super Beets is good as fuck for you.
Yeah, something
I
like
mean,
that.
Yeah, because you said beetroot, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, all of the beets are good for you. So
Yeah.
it's great for circulation. And if you're actually going to have something to kind of get your blood flowing as well as a stimulant, you might as well have something that makes sure your circulation is working well at the same time.
Yeah, betaine anhydrous is essentially like it's from beet. That's why it's called betaine anhydrous. It's like a big NO2 booster.
Got you. I bet you could take slow release niacin, and it would actually do similar to the same thing that beets do, where it comes to opening up your blood vessels and makes your blood pump a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, that and citrulline's one of those things too. It's like for your circulation. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
Yeah, I could talk working out all day.
I was gonna say I could talk food and workouts like that all day.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't do on my channel is ever work out. I should. I wanted to do that. Wankaroo, the guy we were talking to in the chat, he just started biking. What, like 64 miles on his regular thing. He starts like running at crazy rates.
Damn.
Well, raw onion's good for a lot of things. It just depends on what you're using it for.
Grilled onions.
That's some Andrew Tate shit. About like just eating a raw onion like an apple.
You gotta make the hands clenched together with the Illuminati sign that he always does with his thumb and his pointer finger. Oh my god!
Hold on,
when I'm driving my Bugatti.
Listen. Oh man.
Need to get a cigar.
No, I did that shit on my birthday in December 15th. I came on and I had a big ass cigar and I had my sunglasses on. I was like, this is gonna be a top G birthday.
I think I'm gonna go as Andrew Tate for Halloween if he's still relevant, or unless someone else comes up. I think it'd be funny.
Oh, the Matrix is taking him out, man. Come on.
Yeah.
What's going on, Jimmy Rizzo?
He went too hard on the red pill.
Dude, 30 and a half miles on foot. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And he said a hike too, so I'm guessing elevation.
Right.
Jesus.
I mean, I'll do like a 10K like run, but that's about as far as I'll take it.
I'll maybe do 4 or 5 miles on the bike.
I'll do a 6 mile run. Like I'll just wake up one day and all right, okay, I need to run 6 miles today, and then that'll probably be the most I could do for a little while.
Yeah, I definitely don't run anymore. Just my knees, like I'm kind of like a bit of a thicker body type, and like just playing a lot of basketball and rugby, and like I also cut really hard. I was okay for like a step or two. Like I could jab and cut pretty good for a kind of a thicker guy. I think that just wore my knees out. Like I feel like if I go jogging or something, I just feel my knees like pounding on the pavement and they swell up real bad the next day.
I get you, man. I mean, different sport, but I was in wrestling since I was 3. I have like no cartilage in my knees.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's true, but that's how I feel.
For sure. No, it'll definitely wear you out real quick.
Yeah, so like biking. I think about doing biking and then maybe sprints. I maybe should do some sprints, but even then, like that'd probably be a little too much. I'm not sure how much I get out of it after I get tired of banging my knees up.
Well, sprints are good for like intermittent or intermediate sprinting. Is that what you call it? Where you jog for a little while, then you go, okay.
Hit training.
Yeah, I'm gonna sprint this quarter of a block, and then I'm gonna go back to jogging, because most people try to do sprints and then they just stop doing something. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's not good for your stability muscles or anything else. Like you got to like run down. Yeah,
probably should do some more Stairmaster stuff too.
My old ass needs to start stretching more. I love stretching now that I'm old.
I've been trying to do these. They're called sissy squats. I don't know if you ever heard of those. Have you heard of this guy called knees over toes guy?
I don't think so. What are sissy squats?
So sissy squats are like if you're standing up, right? And you use something that you can grab onto, or like you use like a dip belt and you tie it to like a pole in front of you. So like because you can't do it just standing up, but you're standing up and essentially you start to lean back. and your knees go way forward, essentially. So almost like you're like almost like trying to let like I guess like levitate backwards, like you're gonna fall on your back almost.
Okay.
But again, you have something that supports you, and so you kind of almost go to where like your toes or like the heel of your foot touches your butt. You know what I mean? Like that kind of
Yeah.
form. Yeah,
I was
you have to
trying to
look them
do-
up, but
I was
supposed to
trying
be
to
really
do that
good for
one
your
where
knees.
you. I was just trying the other day to do that one where you hold one leg in front of you and you have to squat all the way down and bring your butt to the back of your foot
yeah.
and then come back up.
Whew, I used to be
That
able to
shit's
do
hard.
those barely, but definitely
I
not now.
did it the other day, never trying it before, and I was like, oh, okay, I see why it's hard. I only got one on each leg, but
Yeah, it's hard as shit.
hey, Brett,
Yeah,
thank you for the
stretching's
like. I
definitely
appreciate
good.
it.
I also have an inverted table, like where you like hang upside down a little bit.
Yeah.
That feels really good on your legs, like your blood flow whenever you come out.
Well, it's so good for your back too.
Yeah.
Back compression is so horrible just from gravity and walking around all day. And
Yeah, I like to squat heavy, so that shit definitely feels good on my back.
oh yeah, I don't squat. I'm too short. Like, I was always told that like if you're shorter, you probably shouldn't squat. It's just more pressure on your discs than you need.
Interesting.
It would make
Shorter
sense.
guys though can squat a shit ton.
Oh yeah, because they got a smaller. Well, they got a lower base and a better core usually.
Smaller range of motion too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Watching tall guys squat is so funny to me sometimes. If you're like 6'2", 6'3", I'm always looking at them like, man, that looks so hard. I feel bad for you.
who's do you know the guy that does the Take Your Shoes Off podcast? Not personally, but have you ever heard of the Take Your Shoes Off podcast?
No, I haven't.
So it's this Jewish guy, and he got drafted to what's the fucking he's a stand-up comedian, he's a podcaster, and he's an actor. And
Rick Glassman?
Yeah, Rick
Okay.
Glassman. He's the one who does the Take Your Shoes Off podcast. I didn't know he was that hard of a basketball player. Like, I had no idea. Apparently, he got drafted to the same team that LeBron did when he played in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like an alternate. So he was actually getting paychecks from Cleveland to go and like train the NBA players on one-on-one matches and shit. I'm like, that's insane. You wouldn't expect that out of that little guy. But yeah, Rick Glassman, he's got some awesome highlight videos of him actually playing basketball.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised. And a bunch of trophies. Oh, come on, Galaxy. What's going on, man? Let's see. What time is it? It's about that time already?
Yeah, 6:50 here.
Damn.
It's not a big deal. I mean, I'm free all next week, like I said, so.
All right. Well, if I don't hear anything back here in the next 10, 15 minutes, we'll probably have to call it.
I might go get a night lifting session.
Well, I mean, I guess if he doesn't show up, I mean that counts as a W for
a small. I'll take a small little dub.
Yeah. I don't know if he's gonna be okay with this, but I mean, you gotta show up to be considered.
I'm not gonna hold it against him. I'm not gonna.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he couldn't get his internet working or something or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think about Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira?
God, I think
they're gonna rematch, right?
I think Pereira's got Adesanya's number.
Seems
whatever
like
it is. Gosh, I mean, and I can watch Adesanya win that whole fight all the way up until the end, and I'm just like, oh my God, he's just waiting for it to happen. Like, it's hard to watch. I can't, like, I really like Adesanya. My two favorite fighters are probably Adesanya and Rose Namajunas.
Okay, yeah.
And like, I don't know. I've had an issue with Thug Rose's last fight. And then I also had an issue with Adesanya's last fight. I just don't know if Adesanya is ever going to be able to beat Pereira. I hope he will, but
I really liked Israel, but the last like 2 or 3 fights, he looks like he's fighting not to lose instead of fighting to win.
Yeah,
which is not.
Agreed.
I mean, it's worked out for him. He's kind of like playing the card game instead of like playing to win.
Oh yeah, no, the last one I thought he like won definitively was probably the Whitaker one, where
Yeah.
he knocked out Whitaker at the end of the round, and for some reason they put Whitaker back in for the next round. Like,
Oh
didn't
yeah,
count
that's
it as a
right.
knockout. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is brutal. Like, he's going to go out and knock him out one more time before the end of the fight.
I have so much respect for him though, because like it seems like he fights a lot of like these like heavy hitters kind of, and they just never can seem to like get to him, get close to him, get comfortable to him.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really quite crazy to watch.
It
Him
would have been
work
fun to
sometimes.
watch Anderson Silva in his prime actually fight Adesanya. They have very similar styles.
Yeah, they do.
And I think Adesanya learned a lot from Silva. Like, he
Silva's
grew up
got
watching
he's a
Silva.
black belt though, isn't he, in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
So
And
he
he's got
definitely has the ground game, right?
it's his jiu-jitsu game is black belt, and then he's been doing kickboxing also his whole life. That's where his leg dexterity is so good. I mean,
Yeah.
most of his knockouts are head kicks.
True.
He doesn't actually get a lot of submissions.
Did you watch him fight Jake Paul?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it live.
Jake Paul's definitely shocking me a little bit.
Yeah, I still don't consider him professional boxer level, and I do think he's picking his fights smart, but I can't deny the fact that he's a good athlete. And there's no way you can say he doesn't have good knockout power.
Like, yeah, he's definitely like putting in the work too. Like,
oh yeah,
it definitely seems like he likes to box.
Oh yeah, he enjoys it, and he's definitely throwing himself into the sport. He's not slacking off in between.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't consider Logan a boxer after the shit show he did with Mayweather, where he just hung on him the whole thing.
Yeah, I still can't believe he made it though. Oh, he was getting close to there a few times.
Oh yeah, I thought he was gonna get slapped, but
yeah, Jake Paul now is like part owner or is in some new MMA league. Did you hear about that? I forget which one it is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because he says he's got 5 offers out right now for fights. So I heard that update from when Aiden Ross put on a bald cap and was having a cigar in his hand, and he had glasses on, and he was calling up streamers, and he called up Logan, and he was acting like Andrew Tate, of course. And he ended up saying, "Oh, I got 5 contracts out right now, waiting for somebody to sign." And I know one of them is 1 boxing match with Nate Diaz, and then 1 MMA match with Nate Diaz.
Oh yeah,
cool. Like that's something I would like to see. Rampage Jackson and Briggs were working on doing that between the two of them. I don't know if you know Briggs, the boxer. He used to walk around like, "I'm the champ. The champ is here." And like always used to call himself the champ, and he was never the champ. But that was always his gimmick. He's a swole ass dude, but they're both like 60, and they were talking about like Rampage is looking a lot better since his last fight. But that was always something I wanted to see, is a boxer do 1 boxing match and then also do an MMA match with somebody. Because
I think McGregor teased Mayweather about doing that when they hooked up, right?
Yeah.
But Mayweather.
Jake's got a decent wrestling background. It'd be interesting to see if he can grapple, but not against Nate Diaz on the ground.
No.
I mean, that's just a whole nother level.
Yeah, how old is Nate Diaz now?
He's probably 40. Nah, he might not. I'm thinking 40.
37?
Gotta be close to 40.
He's 37.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
What about the other one? Fucking Dylan Dennis backing out of the KSI fight.
I guess I'm not familiar with that. I know KSI was gonna fight someone. I didn't know the other guy backed out though.
Yeah, Dylan Dennis, a big jiu-jitsu guy in the MMA community. Big shit talker. He went on with Ariel Helwani and did an interview right before right after the press conference for that fight with KSI, and basically just lied to everybody and was acting like he was going to the fight when he was never going to go to the fight. And yeah, it was fucked up. It was just a big publicity stunt, and they all came out and said Dylan Dennis is never going to fight for this organization again. So he's been cut out from I don't remember what boxing organization it was, but he can't even go fight with them anymore.
So he was a jiu-jitsu guy, but he was going to box KSI.
Oh wait, just got an update. Yeah, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, and he was going to go box KSI. All right, thank you. I think it's working now. So we do have an update. We might have Galaxy showing up here in a minute.
Okay.
Cool. Let's see what happens. Gotta ask him if he wants to talk about mixed martial arts first. He hates mixed martial arts, I think. I think he thinks of it as human cockfighting.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not totally off.
No, like I would rather go see like Ben Askren rolling with Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz rather than I would like to see Robbie Lawler and somebody else just stand in the middle and punch each other in the face. Like, I guess it comes down to what you're interested in the sport. I would like to see technicians go against each other and see what styles work better rather than to see two dummies just go in there and punch each other in the face until the last one's standing.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe I'm different about it. I don't like the bloodbath side of it. What's going on? How are we doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah, this piece of garbage StreamYard, man. I'm telling you, I just found out my StreamYard was fine the whole time. The link was not good, man. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying something was wrong with the link.
Huh? That's weird.
Yeah, but it's working now.
Well, glad it's working. Yeah, we were just talking about MMA fighting, conspiracy theories. What else did we talk about? Diets. We talked about a bunch of random stuff. I was like, we got to hold off on the Michael Jordan topic until our guests arrive.
Oh, you expecting more people?
No, just you two. We were just waiting for you to get here before we talked about Michael Jordan. I thought it would have been kind of unfair on a debate about basketball if we started talking about basketball before you got here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, de nada. So, I don't know. I was going to kind of let you guys open up with opening statements. If whoever wants to take the floor first, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Michael Jordan fans are the stupidest sports fans, the dumbest sports fans, the most idiotic sports fans, and the most moronic sports fans. I realize many of you out there in the land of facts are not going to understand this. You're going to think this guy sounds arrogant. He sounds full of himself. What's up with these lame jokes? Why would a person question a group of fans so much? You don't know all the information, and or you yourself are one of them. I assure you, amongst many, 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 many days, weeks, months, and whatever in general research, I have come to the conclusion that Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time. Many people will back me up on this. The only people who disagree are, again, people who don't know the information or they themselves are a Michael Jordan fan. I can show you how they act. I can show you how they contradict themselves, how they move the goalposts, how they're never wrong in anything, how they always give themselves a pass, how they always point the finger at you, how they make things up. And I could give you more examples, but you get the point. In fact, if anybody wants lots of details, I'll give you details. Actually, you don't even have to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. Just go ask them questions. Talk to them, debate them, write them, hang out with them, email them, go on their programs and so on, and they will show you how they are. Now, I'm not saying all Michael Jordan fans are like this. Obviously not. I've met many Michael Jordan fans who are very nice people, many people who come on my program multiple times. They have a nice time and all that. But this is a general thing. In general, they are the worst sports fans, and I invite anybody to one of my YouTube pages where you can learn more things about them. The name of the page is Michael Jordan Fans Are the Worst Sports Fans.
All right.
Okay. Thank you for that completely emotional and subjective opening.
How you like being blocked on my page, motherfucker?
Ladies and gentlemen of the chat, of the jury, everyone here, I want to thank you for being here. We're finally going to settle this once and for all.
It was already settled.
I didn't interrupt you, so if you wouldn't interrupt me, I appreciate that.
Whose dick you're sucking on?
What? What? Yeah, I'm gonna like.
Not you, Jacob Waters, not you.
I'm just saying he was totally quiet when I let you do your
fuck him and his shit program on YouTube. How many subscribers you have, asshole?
See, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we can already see how
Oh,
flustered
fuck
my
yourself.
opponent's getting. He
Fuck
already
my
knows
dick.
he's going to get
You're a
absolutely
cunt.
dismantled
Fuck
in this
you.
debate.
Fuck you and your shit page. You bald-headed motherfucker. That's why you email me 28,000 times.
Yeah, I
a
already went over your
day.
emails on
You know
my
what he
stream.
wanted, folks? He was all the. I'm gonna put dressed up. I think I was told. I'm not gonna name names.
Look
I
how
was
flustered he
told
is.
I'm gonna dress
Look
up
at
and
you,
all this.
bro.
You're not gonna. You're never gonna have a debate.
All right, sorry. And
You
MB,
muted
I
him?
was trying to
Okay.
hear your opening statement. Go ahead.
Okay. What we're having here is the GOAT debate, right? And this is the MJ debate. Is MJ the GOAT or not? And so this is a question of subjective versus objective arguments. And we must already left.
All right, so let me get in here, and then I'll let you do your opening statement, and
Okay.
we'll have to.
He left, right? You didn't boot him, right?
No, I didn't boot him.
Just to be official.
So Galaxy, you do this with other people if they're trying to interrupt and talk over you. We totally let you do your opening statement, and then you started calling him names. I'm not really sure what that was about, but I kind of told you how I wanted this to be structured. You're more than welcome to come back on. I'm not just gonna have you sit there and call him names while he's trying to make his points. Like, it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. No, I'm gonna have a lengthy email.
That's all right. You knew I was about to dismantle him. It's fine.
Dude, I kind of wanted to know what points you were gonna bring up, though.
Yeah, I mean, I won't read out the whole thing now because you left, but I'll go over them really quickly. So the main thing to start the entire debate is that there is a definitive statement being made by Tug and by Jordan fans, right? You either say he isn't or isn't the GOAT. And remember, we were talking earlier, I said I was going to address this. What Tug will then do is that sometimes if you can back him into a corner or if you're able to nail some points down, people will then say, well, we can't really tell who the GOAT is. We can't decide. There's so many great players. That's a fine position if you want to say that Jordan isn't the GOAT or you want to say that you can't decide. Either one of those opinions is okay. The thing is that you can't take both. If you're going to make a definitive statement that Jordan is not the GOAT, that just logically and reasonably means you have to have someone else who is the GOAT. Second, what goes into that is that once you start arguing for Jordan, what Tug will do is that he will use all of the greats throughout NBA history to try and nitpick against Jordan. So, for example, Jordan has 6 rings. That's the second most rings of all time in terms of a player being the best player on his team and leading his team to championships behind Bill Russell.
I gotta interrupt you. I gotta play the Galaxy card on that. But why are the team accomplishments being given to that individual as a?
Well, I said with the caveat of being the best player. Like, I mean, obviously Jordan was the best player on his team.
Okay, well that's kind of projection. I mean, as a Chicago fan, I think Kukoc was a big attributor to that. I think he helped win many of the games in the playoffs. And
right. No one's saying that. No one's saying that.
I think it's harder to say that he carried the whole team. I think you got to give the whole team credit for those rings.
Well, no, you don't give the whole. You don't have to. You wouldn't give them equal credit, though. Not everyone on that team contributes.
And I think that's down to the individual to weigh what credit goes where. But to say that the others don't get credit, and we're going to slowly put these rings. I mean, because otherwise, can't Scottie Pippen say the same thing? I have 6 rings.
Well, I never said nobody else gets credit. That's why I said being the best player on a team. So like. That way we don't argue that Robert Horry has more rings than Jordan, so therefore he's better. Everyone knows that he's not. That's why I think being the main contributor was the caveat of what I said. But the point of what I was making is that what will happen is if you start arguing for Jordan, right? So if you bring up Jordan having 6 rings, they have to go to Bill Russell, who has more rings. If you bring up the fact he has as many MVPs as he does, they have to go to Kareem, the fact that he has 1 more MVP than Jordan. And so what I was saying is that essentially the second layer of what he does is that he has to use all of these other GOATs to try and bring up 1 or 2 things that they're better at than Jordan, which then gets into the next point, which is when you start adding a statistical weight of things that players have achieved, accomplished, championships, MVPs, defensive player of the years, steals, all of it, right? It's all encompassing. Jordan's statistical weight is easily a top 5 or 10 player, even just objectively, right? You don't really have to have much an opinion on basketball to just study it for a day and understand that Jordan is one of the best of all time. That's largely where I was going with that. And then what I was going to say is that whenever you bring up something that is good for Jordan, right? So if you bring up the 6 rings, right? Well, Russell's better because he has 11, but yet Jordan doesn't get credit for having 6. It's like if one other person is better than Jordan in something, they get credit for it and they're considered better. But if Jordan is like, the best scorer of all time in the playoffs by far, and he still is in the regular season, oh, well, that doesn't quite count as much, or that doesn't matter as much.
Couldn't you say it makes a difference that Bill Russell was playing with different people and Jordan was playing with the same team the majority of the time that he accomplished the 6 rings?
Well, Bill Russell played with like 6 or 7 other Hall of Famers in a league of only 8 or 9 teams for most of his career, and you only had to win 2 playoff series. That's it. You win the first round, and then the second round was a championship.
So you're going with that there wasn't as much competition at the time?
It was just a different landscape. I mean, you could say the competition was relative. I actually go into this in my Jordan video, is that in Bill Russell's time, right? Like the NBA was almost a failed institution. A lot of teams went bankrupt. They had to move around a lot. Guys were working second jobs, which you could make the argument that makes it harder, but you could also say that means the talent was not as deep. The resources for the NBA was not as deep. Whereas compared to today, right? That is also to say that Kuzi even admitted he almost went and started a driving instructor school instead of playing in the NBA. I mean, that's how close Kuzi was to not being one of the all-time greats. He almost went and did a driver's ed school. Compared to today, if you can play, if you're good, there is a 0 to a slim to none chance that the NBA does not find you and does not, try to develop all of your talents and skills. Meaning that there is no doubt that probably since like the 80s, right, when it blew up under Bird and Magic, that there is no talent, no stone going unturned, that the NBA will not find you and pay you the money to get you to come play. No one's turning down an NBA contract since the 80s and 90s, essentially.
Well, yeah, and I can agree with that side of the argument where at least pay-wise, you're going to get the cream of the crop because they're willing to funnel money into great players.
Yeah, and the international game too is exploding.
In the traveling side of it, the traveling side of it's changed so much. Just all the financial decisions that would have went into being a player back then compared to now.
Yeah, but it's just a simple fact that Bill Russell had nowhere near the. I won't quite say near the competition, right? It could be all relative, but to think you only have to win 2 playoff series, there's only 8 or 9 teams, and he played on a stacked Celtics team with 6 or 7 other Hall of Famers. I mean, I just think his rings are a little overinflated.
No. I mean, because with having the smaller amount of teams, you could say that the better players were kind of condensed down to less teams as well.
Yeah, but there's nowhere near as many other Hall of Famers on the other teams.
True.
I mean, I love Bill Russell. I think he dominates still today. I'm not really like an eras argument kind of guy. Like I won't say like one was better than the other.
Is Bill Russell in your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, top 4?
Yeah.
He probably is in my top 10. In terms of a Rushmore, I'd say he probably barely misses it.
Barely misses it. Okay. So because I have trouble. I can understand anybody's argument that Jordan's not in the top 5, and I can think of players that legitimately are in the argument for it. I think LeBron's actually really underrated for being individual that is good at the sport of basketball, and usually being on teams that show that. To me, that the ring accomplishments, you need a team around you. You can't just be that all-star player. And that's why I think as a GOAT, he's definitely up in the top 5. I could put Kobe up there. I could put Magic Johnson up there. I could put Wilt Chamberlain up there. I definitely would say Michael Jordan's in the top 10, but I don't know where I would put him on the list because I do find a lot of other players that and then your favorite player, we haven't even said that one yet.
Bird. Yeah, I think just my opinion, just my subjective personal opinion, I think Bird was probably the best ever. I just think he was the most complete player, could do the most. And if you think one of the big things about today too is like a lot of the stars are ball dominant. They have the ball in their hands for so long. And if you think about back like when Bird, even like Magic Johnson, right? Magic had the ball in his hands all the time. Bird would have the ball in his hands for 2, 3, maybe up to 5 seconds before it was either passed or shot or he put it on the floor or something like that. And I think his intangibles too, off-ball defense, moving the ball around, things like that. Obviously clutch, top 3 clutch all time, probably, if not number 1. But I just think, I think to me, he embodies like being the best ever. But that's my personal subjective opinion. If I had to argue, if I had to like go and argue against someone who thought Jordan was the best, I feel like I could make a better argument for Jordan than Bird.
Yeah.
On, like on paper, objectively.
Yeah. So he's your favorite all around and more probably entertaining player.
Oh, entertaining.
Like that you'd rather. Well, I guess entertaining is probably the wrong word for it.
Yeah, it's like Vince Carter. You could argue Vince Carter is like the most.
Yeah, Vince Carter, ever. Dennis Rodman,
I feel like, or something like that.
Yeah, I think entertainment's a bad word for it.
Sean Kemp, when he was in his prime, he's one of my favorites.
No matter where or who they're playing, you would show up to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think he had that draw for sure, that appeal. He's one of those guys who did something every game that was probably like got you out of your seat.
Gotcha. Well, man, I'm sorry this fucking fell apart.
It's all right, man. I don't care.
I was assuming he was actually going to have a legitimate debate and not back out of it. But
yeah, it's funny. I had this whole intro, and as soon as you started interrupting me, I was like, man, this ain't gonna happen.
Well, yeah, I don't know how long he was gonna let me how long he thought I was gonna let that run on for. But yeah, no, I told him prior. He was like, no, he's gonna be the one calling me names first.
There you go.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I was on my channel, but I turned it off. I'll put it on yours so people can see me.
Yeah.
I got all dressed up. I was all ready to go.
He just messaged me back. All right. Since I'm probably on his shit list now. That's you right. And your effing show, and tell that loser you have on to stop effing emailing me every day. And while we are going over things, stop killing fish with
oh my god, dude.
I can't even explain all of this to you, but you don't have the brain power to understand. Even if you did, I'm not interested in explaining this to you. So
I haven't been emailing him either. I don't understand why he says that.
So let me unpack this. Since Galaxy never watches anybody else's channel, that's fine. I never told him I go out and kill fish unless I'm going to eat them. And I fish for sport and I put them back. I don't just tote them around and kill them. And it actually doesn't kill them. And it was funny because we were talking about it and I was like, he was talking about conspiracies at the same time with somebody else in the chat. I was like, it's probably closer to an alien abduction. I was like, I'm not really killing them. I'm just abducting them and pulling them out of their element and then throwing them back. Yeah. I was like, if anything, I changed their lives. I mean, and I don't know why he always thinks it's all about murder and stuff like that. Let me break it down to you, bud. If you are only consuming vegetables, factory farming, I was actually talking about this with Nick before you came on, is factory farming can be just as much of a detriment to killing things as factory farming with animals. For the simple fact of water consumption, the amount of insects and animals that have to be killed in order to sustain the livestock, whatever. It doesn't have to be a living livestock. It could be your field of crops. that also gets eaten by animals and stuff. And when they churn up the fields every year, I was telling them this earlier, the crows and the vultures and stuff, they'll follow around the combines because they know all the animals are about to get killed and churned up. And then they go out and scavenge all the things, because factory farming on any scale is bad. So unless you're coming up with some kind of sustainable solution to what society should do, you're not winning the moral argument. You're just trying to say, oh, this thing doesn't have a beating heart, so when I consume it, I'm not consuming blood or something. Like I don't understand the argument. You're still killing something. Things still have to die in order for you to consume that. And there's an argument that it's just as bad. I guess unless your argument is that small animals aren't as important as cows, or like I really don't get it at this point. Hunting is not sustainable. Everybody having a farm at their house isn't sustainable. We'd have to come up with another solution. And that's why every time I've talked to you about this, Galaxy, I've said the only thing I could actually think of that would be a viable solution to stop the animal side of factory farming is if we did lab-grown meat. I assume if we can develop lab-grown meat, we can also do lab-grown cells of cell walls. Eventually, we'd probably be able to produce vegetables without having to injure any vegetables in the process. But all of this would take time, and to switch a society would be the tricky part of it. So I'm not going out and killing fish, and I'm sorry you don't think I have the brain power to talk about this, but this is something that I actually study quite a bit. Like I told you, I grew up in like the breadbasket of the United States. I don't know if you live in a big city and you don't understand what farming's like, and you just eat the vegetables and go, oh, okay, vegetables, I'm not harming anybody. That's fine. It's okay. There's a lot of zombie vegetarians and vegans out there that think they're changing the world, but it's not as true as you think it is. I know how much water needs to grow that it takes to grow a couple avocados, and I know what the chance is that our civilization will run out of water in our lifetime, like fresh drinking water. And we actually have the capability of getting better drinking water and doing stuff like that, but we avoid it because we'd rather raise the price on drinking water and charge people more. It's all factory farming of humans, to be honest. They don't care what you eat as long as you're eating the food that they're selling you. And unless you're coming up with something sustainable, that's why I have no problem if somebody raises their own chickens and raises their own cows and wants to do it like that. That's great. That's probably better for it than supporting any kind of grocery store or anything like that. So think about what you're saying when you're coming to the argument, because it just calling people names and saying that I'm out killing fish is just weird to me. Like, yes, I go kayaking, I get out of my house sometimes, and I like to fish, but I don't kill every fish that I've ever had. And when I do actually kill a fish, I cook and eat every part of it that I can. And then I'm usually in like deep wilderness if I'm doing something like that, and I leave the rest of it for other animals to have. It's not like I'm just throwing it away and it was meaningless for everybody around. It's usually because I don't have any food that I brought with me, and I do 62-mile solo kayaking trips by myself. Like I usually have to have something to eat on the way. But yeah, I'm sorry, Galaxy. That's your don't want.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you said I was emailing him every day. I emailed him the eve of Christmas Day when I was trying to get on, and then he sent me like 15 emails in reply. I haven't emailed him ever since. I don't know why he's saying that.
Yeah, no, you mean you showed your emails the other day.
Yeah, I just had that one email account.
It's funny because he watched that video because he was like, "Oh, what? You're gonna get dressed up all nice?" And so he definitely watched that video that I shared with him too. I'm like, all right, you watched it all. We get it.
Yeah, and like I'm 35, man. I'm losing a little bit of hair. Ain't no big deal to me. Don't bother me none at all.
I'm not allowed to take off my hats anymore because I've been on too many panels with bald people and I make them feel bad.
Oh yeah, so. Yeah. We all used to have beautiful, luscious hair. It's all right.
So how old are you?
35. I actually 35? Just turned 35 4 days ago.
I'm 33. I don't know how old you think I am, but I mean we're close. Right. And usually I always tell people if you got a receding hairline or something, that just means you're producing more testosterone than everybody else.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. I am getting pretty
man, I
yoked.
appreciate you
I'm
coming on. I
Yeah, no worries,
apologize that
man.
it was a waste of time. I know you got to travel soon, so
That's all
I
right, man. I
appreciate your
appreciate
time.
it. We can always do this again or find some other topic or whatever. It was good chatting.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about wrestling sometime.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down.
All right, man. You have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Later.
All right. Sorry, guys. I was hoping that was going to be a debate, but yeah, I'm going to count that as a W for NMB Sports, and it looks like Galaxy's pulling himself out of the game because he just told me to F off and all this other stuff, and he hates my program, and I kill fish and all this other stuff. Oh yeah, it's whatever, man. I've yet to see him make a solid argument about this, so. Yeah, you resorted to the name calling, and you couldn't have an intelligent conversation with anybody. So, guess that's the end of it, man. The galaxy, the universe galaxy has been put to rest. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Sorry you had to witness this. Everybody have a good night.